How many of you know this guy?
I challenge Regina Daniel with her husband Ned Nwoko, made them sue me to court. Yes. Now me talk say Regina Daniel get another boyfriend. Say all the children where he claim say na Ned Nwoko get them. Say na another man get the children. So now I challenge them, make them sue me to court, and I go bring my evidence. Make them know say the anyas don't open for my table and the evidence shook for everywhere. I go expose them. Now too much they talk. If Regina Daniel believe herself, say yes. Now only Ned Nwoko they cross her leg. May she sue me to court. Make her expose her. As you all know, this is too much.
This guy has been using social media to make so many defamatory statements against Senator Ned Nwoko. And a lot of people don't find this funny. And recently, Senator Ned Nwoko actually took action against him, and a lot of people think that that action was justified. But something has been happening lately. Mr. Sowore has been standing in for this guy to fight for him, and a lot of Nigerians don't know why he will be standing up for someone like this, because apparently that guy invited the trouble to himself. A lot of people are curious, why are you standing up for this young man?
Well, let me correct first and foremost that he has been making defamatory statements. Those are far-reaching accusations that have not been proven anywhere. The young man, Gabriel Timothy, known as Tuma, has been using social media to make his own case for a country that he expects to see, having gone through some hard times himself, which is not for discussion now. But the question you ask is, what are we standing for on his behalf? Is that we've always stood for those who are disadvantaged, those who are cheated, those who are vulnerable, those who have nobody to stand for them. And that is the reason why we've been standing for everybody, including sometimes those we don't agree with necessarily, whose rights have been trampled upon. The rights of Mr. Tuma was trampled upon. But this is the second time they will trample on his rights. There was a time the wife of the president, Ms. Tinubu, sent him to detention for 57 days without trial. And we were the ones who got him released.
What did he do?
Well, they also claimed that he made some statements on TikTok defaming the First Lady. And they couldn't prove it. They filed charges against him that never came up for arraignment today. So this is what the big people in Nigeria do. They use their influence, their connection, and their wealth to trample on the rights of the same people whose resources they have stolen in the first place. People they are deprived of opportunity and development. So we always stand for them just as we stand up for ourselves. We are for equity, we are for justice, and we are for the development of the rule of law. Because without the rule of law in any country, there can never be democratic progress.
I understand that you are known for standing up for people. You stood up for so many people, and the evidence is on papers. But I'm curious about this specific guy. Are you trying to say that what Tuma said and what he did is justified?
Nobody has presented before a court of law what he said.
There are videos.
There are videos that were not even presented to the lawyers. There is no evidence. He was just arraigned a few minutes ago, and they did not present a single shred of evidence of what he said. If you are going to present a video, you are supposed to present them in a format that the judges can look at, whether as a thumb drive or a CD drive or any format. None was presented today. They just came and read the charges that he defamed somebody. And by the way, defamation is completely a civil case. If somebody has defamed you, what you do is you go and ask for damages in a civil trial. You have no right, anybody, and I'm reminding you and those of you who are out there using social, nobody has a right to use the police to arrest you because you made an allegation against them that they deem defamatory. If they want to seek redress, you go to a civil court to seek redress. Everybody in the world has access to a civil court. And these people also understand that the civil courts are there to deal with civil matters. But they decide to go otherwise because they have power, they have connection. They'll go directly to the IG. They say, look, I want to punish this young man because he offended me. And the IG, without thinking, would find some policemen who will go and arrest the person, illegally detain the person like the First Lady did for 57 days. And then when they are released, they file no charges. Like I'm telling you, we're just coming from court. He was arraigned. The police that brought him to court filed no single shred of evidence. These are his lawyers to my left and to my right. No evidence was provided in court of any kind. to justify the charge that he cyberbullied or committed a cyber crime. None whatsoever. So when they make these allegations in public, or when they use influencers or social media or the media to tell these stories, ask them, have they presented an evidence in court? Did they serve the lawyers evidence that it is tried in law that you must do before you even engage in any kind of... None was done. What they did today, which is unprecedented with their connection, was that when the lawyers filed bail application, they removed the bail application from the file of the court. So the judge said, I can't find your bail motion. And as a result, they adjourned the case for trial till October 4th. Is it October 8th, 2025? Even if you are convicted of this crime they claim you committed, you only serve 2 years in prison. So already they have detained, they are going to get over 4 months just to go to trial. And the guy will be languishing in jail, and the people who are destroying Nigeria will not spend one night in prison. The people who stole billions, the people who are known to have committed all kinds of atrocities, including crimes against humanity, they are the ones forming coalitions now to rule you again. So I am advising anybody who feel that anyone has defamed them, let them ask their lawyer the proper procedure, which is to go to, to file a civil lawsuit and ask for damages. That is how it is done globally. And these are the people who claim that they are civilized. They are the ones who have private jets. They are the ones who travel across the world. But when it comes to Nigeria, they run Nigeria as if we are in the 15th century. It's unfortunate. And anybody who is supporting this injustice, I'm telling you, one day will be your turn, because it will soon go round.
Okay, if I can understand all you've said, what you are really fighting is the fact that due process was not followed.
I was there, and there are videos on my page on Facebook and Instagram when their lawyer, the prosecutor, went to a magistrate court, which he admitted has no jurisdiction over the matter, to go and file for a detention order. And it is that detention order that they have used in the last 2 weeks to keep him in detention. But he admitted that he knows that the magistrate court have no jurisdiction to try the case. So that's what they do. They go to the magistrate court, they send you to prison, and then they'll come and file some bogus charge, and then they'll send you back to prison because they'll say your bail application is not right for hearing. And before you know it, you have spent 2 years in prison, and then they'll stop coming to court. The Nigerian police, and I'm challenging them, has never successfully prosecuted anybody for cybercrime since the offense was introduced in 2015 by Goodluck Jonathan. None. Because they never have the capacity to even diligently prosecute cases of murder. These are the same people who arrested 26 people who they claim killed 200 people in Yewata and Benue State. They have not arraigned a single one of them in court since they arrested them some 2 weeks ago. But they found, or the lawyers, the prosecutors, they found the prison to jail a guy who they claim offended a second wife of a Nigerian senator.
A lot of people suspect that your interest in this matter is because of the issue you once had with Senator Ned Nwoko. There was a time he arrested you for something that was published on Sahara Reporters. What do you have to say about that?
Not at all. In fact, before he arrested me, I had bailed out Jaruma when he did the same thing to Jaruma.
Jaruma Empire.
Empire, the lady who sells Kayamata. And when the lady had an issue with this, his wife, he got an area court to jail her as well. So I intervened and got her out of the problem. So that was the point at which he came after me. He tried to come after me. So my position on justice has nothing to do with whether you offend me or not. Let me tell you, the people who are traditionally my biggest enemies in this country are the police. But I am also the #1 person fighting for police well-being in the country today. I want them to be paid the best pension that anybody can get. I want them to have equipments, vehicles. I don't want them to be contributing money for the wife of the IG to do birthday. I want them to have some of the best working conditions in the country. But they are the same people who broke my nose. They are the ones who shot me in the thigh. So as far as justice is concerned, as far as I'm concerned, whether you are a Jew or Gentile, I'm for justice. So it has nothing to do. If Ned Nwoko himself is cheated today, I'll fight for him. That's how I'm wired. So don't let anybody deceive you that it has nothing to do with what he did to me. Ned Nwoko has no right to send anybody. In fact, it is the country that should be sending Ned Nwoko to jail. And you can say this because Ned Nwoko was involved in a lot of questionable and shady dealings in the way and manner they stole local government funds that they claim were refunded by the World Bank.
Can you talk about it?
Oh, that was the one where he claimed he's representing local governments and some refunds that they got from money that were deducted in World Bank loans. And when the money came, Ned Nwoko got the largest chunk of it, connived with Minister of Finance officials, took the money. To the point that Ned Nwoko bought a private jet. And when the arm of the private jet broke in Abuja here, he ordered for a second one. It was from that money that he married his wife, who was clearly, there was a time there was allegation that she was underage. It was from all that.
Do you mean Regina Daniels?
Yes. It was from that excess money that he's living the life that he's living now, living large, on Nigeria's resources. And those are the kind of people who are sending people to jail for merely expressing themselves on TikTok. People express themselves on TikTok all over the world. TikTok has probably the largest base in terms of young people who are using TikTok. TikTok are being used for public good in other places. TikTok is being used to suppress people in Nigeria. That is so sad that the young people of Nigeria have no right to express themselves. But the rich people of Nigeria can say whatever they want. They can steal whomever they want to steal from. They are stealing cities, but they are putting in jail people who are stealing chickens. That's where Nigeria is today. And that is why we stand against any of these rich people who are already living large on public funds. Not to even develop the idea of thinking that they can suppress anybody. People have been suppressed, they have been deprived, they have been destroyed and decimated enough. They are lucky that they have very complacent young people. In other places, nobody will be talking against them on TikTok. They would have taken further steps that will make some of them run away from the country. But I am not in any way justifying violence, but I'm saying that enough is enough. This oppression in this country must end. That's our position.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. So I want to go back to something I already said. You know, it is established by certain people that you are using Sahara reporters. I don't know about now, but in the past, to fight against Ned Nwoko, that there were some things you wrote about him concerning the campaign he did about malaria using a foundation where he worked with Regina Daniels, that he wanted to eradicate malaria from Africa. He traveled down to Antarctica. And a lot of people claim that it was it's a fraud, and I'm sure that was something Sahara reported about. And there were also claims about land grabbing too. All these were documented by Sahara reporters, and I'm sure that was what led to him trying to get you arrested. So right now, people think that maybe you are using this issue with Temo to fight back at Senator Ned Nwoko.
You have said this earlier, and I've told you, whatever Sahara wrote is factual. And he took me to court. I was arrested in 2022 by Ned Nwoko. He took myself, Sahara reporters, to this federal high court. They have not been able to arraign me till tomorrow because he has been unable to prove that the things Sahara reporters wrote about him was a lie. The question I asked Ned Nwoko when he said he wanted to eradicate malaria from Africa, I said, have you eradicated malaria from your house in Abuja? He couldn't answer the question. So you can put up a bogus foundation agenda to take money from people, but when you are challenged, provide the evidence that you can eradicate malaria, starting from your village. So, but he arrested me, he took me to court. They couldn't charge me, they haven't charged me till tomorrow. The case is adjourned till, I think, October again. And I come to court every time. Ned Nwoko has not been able to show up in court. But you know what he did? He went behind and used an area judge to detain my lawyer, Marshal Abubakar, for 4 days. He works with Femi Falana. He used all these underhanded tactics. When I was detained by him in 2022, I found people from his village who had been at the FCID for 9 months because they challenged his land grabbing to create the bogus university it claims to be sports university today. So any society that don't have people of conscience like us will go down in ignominy. But what we are promising them is that nobody can suppress the truth. And no matter how long they are in this business of oppression, it will never last for long. And they too will get to hear from the public or the Nigerian people when they are tired of oppression. So we are here to ensure that the people are conscientized enough to say enough is enough one day. And that time is coming very soon.
Thank you very much, sir. I feel a lot of people look at you on social media and they feel inspired to walk in your step. What is your advice for people who want to use social media to speak the truth and fight for justice in Nigeria?
You must be ready for everything and anything, because if you speak the truth and you do so powerfully against those who are well connected, who are rich, they'll come after you. And they have been coming after me for close to 35 years now. They started in the university when in 1992 I was expelled by Babangida for standing up for democracy and standing up against the military at that time, and his attempt to annul the June 12 election also in 1993. So I have been in trouble fighting with every Nigerian president almost. As I'm talking to you, I'm fighting against the illegal Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun. He has seized my passport. So if you want to do this, think twice and be ready for anything, because it will come with everything after you. Yes.
All right, interesting. So can I have a time with the lawyers? I'd like to know about this guy's case. Okay, thank you very much, sir. So may I know your name, sir?
My name is A.K. Musa.
Okay. And what about you?
S.M. Oyege.
Okay, so I don't know, who am I supposed to talk to right now concerning this Timu's guy? That's his name, right? Timu?
Yes.
Tima.
To both of us, but then that's Dr. S.M. Oyege. He's the lead counsel. He's leading me in the matter. And A.K. Musa, I'm also counsel in the matter. So you could throw your questions around. We'd answer them.
Okay, so I would like people to understand the situation of Timo right now. What is going on? I don't know the legal terms to use to ask this question, but what's going on basically?
So the matter came up today for what we call arraignment. That's to say that the charge will be read and he has taken his plea. Now, Tuma was invited by the police about 3 weeks ago. He volunteered himself to the police, and after recording his statement, he was arrested. He was detained, and the police got a remand order from the magistrate court to remand him for 2 weeks. The 2 weeks had elapsed, and a charge was filed against him at the federal court here. And the matter came up today, and he pleaded not guilty. However, upon receipt of the charge last week, Thursday, we filed a formal motion for what is bail on Monday, which is 2 days ago. And our follow-up today confirmed that the said motion could not be found in the court's file. Of course, before the court started sitting, we went to the registry, the process unit, and it was confirmed that it was brought to the court yesterday, but the motion was not in the court's file. So there was nothing before the court. Since the motion is not before the court, there was no basis for the court to adjourn for hearing of a motion for bail, which is not in the court's file. So on the basis of that, the matter was adjourned to 8th of October for hearing.
Okay, so with the way things are going, how far... Okay, let me ask you. With the way things are going, what do you think would be the result of this case?
Okay, you know, as lawyers, we cannot really talk about the result or the outcome of a matter, and there are limited things that we could talk about because of professional and ethical issues. But you see, our stance on this matter is our struggle against institutionalized oppression and the engagement of state apparatus to deal with personal grudges and personal vendetta. Because the state institutions, the police, the EFCC, the court are not instituted for the protection of individuals. They are instituted for the protection of the general public. And we are averse to people using these institutions to fight personal grudges with fellow Nigerians, especially Nigerians who are deprived of certain benefits in society. So what we have experienced so far in this matter is engagement of state institutions to oppress the boy named Tuma. And many Nigerians are concerned about the video they are seeing circulating on social media. But in law, no matter the allegation against a person, even allegations as strong as murder, the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria affords every Nigerian that is accused of an offense the right to be presumed innocent and the right to liberty, that is his freedom, in order for him to conveniently defend those offenses that he is being charged with or that he is being alleged to have committed. And the duty of every institution, ranging from the police to the court, is to ensure that they do not just use their emotions to address issues from videos that they have seen on social media and vilify a person before the person is properly tried. The procedure is clear. When you allege that the person has committed a crime, you file a charge. As at the time this boy was arrested, the police already knew the offense for which they wanted to charge him. They went and engaged a provision of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act, which should honorably be engaged, where the police still requires to further investigate a matter and they need to engage a remand warrant and obtain a remand warrant from a court. And then in order to keep the person, say for instance you arrest somebody whose investigation is very complicated, there are provisions that you can seek the order of court to lawfully keep the person for the purpose of further investigation. But what they did in this case was to go behind us, the representatives of Tuma, to obtain a remand warrant, when in the court that day they admitted that they know the offense that this boy has committed. They know that the magistrate court does not have the jurisdiction to entertain that matter. So our question is, if you know the offense with which you wanted to charge him, why didn't you take him to the appropriate court and file the charge? And after filing the charge, you give him the opportunity to put in his plea, whether he is guilty or not guilty. And after he pleads guilty, you now call your witnesses and put in your evidence as to all the things you gathered to come to the conclusion that he has committed an offense. And after you do that, you close your case. Then the defendant, the Tuma, now will now put in his own defense as to what is excused for committing the act, or he's saying that he did not commit the act. It is upon all this procedure that the judge will now look at all the evidence put before him or her to now determine whether Tuma is guilty of this offense. But now, for the offense of these injurious statements to the character of whoever has accused him, the punishment is 2 years. He said may be imprisoned for a period of 2 years. So the judge even has discretion to even give a lesser sentence. So that's the provision. So out of that 2 years, that assuming without considering that he is guilty, he is already going to spend 4 months in prison, which the law does not allow. The law provides that nobody should be subjected to punishment before he is tried and convicted. So you can be tried, you can be convicted. There are exceptions to your right to freedom of movement, liberty, and presumption of innocence. Those exceptions are when you have been declared guilty by a court, and that is the opportunity we are simply claiming. We are simply asking that this boy be granted. We are not in position as lawyers to even go into the justification of the videos that they are even talking about, but he should be afforded the opportunity, the liberty to defend himself. Bail that we are asking for, it's not as if when you bail somebody the person has gone free. You bail the person so that he can be coming from his house to court. He can have opportunity of interacting with his lawyers before he comes to court. That is the opportunity that he has been deprived of, and that is the complaint that we are simply having in this matter.
Okay, I think it is well understood now, your positions in this case. Now, I'm curious to know, are you guys human rights lawyers? I want to understand, are you doing this pro bono? I want to know how you guys got involved in this situation. And I think somebody mentioned that you are also defending somebody who had an issue with, what's the name of this pastor? Yes, Paul Eniche. So it seems you guys are in the business of fighting for people who cannot fight for themselves. Do you guys do this pro bono?
Well, you see, the truth is, in the society we find ourselves, and of course, just like every society, all fingers are not equal. There are some persons that can afford legal services, and there are some that lack they don't have the means to afford legal services. And in the event that one is indigent and cannot afford legal services and is not going through the route of legal aid, right, it is just proper that when you look at the facts and circumstances, if we feel it's what we can take up, of course we take it up. The matter you just mentioned, of course, we are doing it pro bono. That's free of charge.
Oh, wow, impressive. So are you guys human rights lawyers?
Yes, I just wanted to clarify something because like the case you mentioned, the case against Paul Enenche, I'm not part of it. I don't know the facts about that case. But then we are lawyers, and you can describe us as human rights lawyers, but it depends on individual nomenclature. For me, I'm a lawyer, I'm an active legal practice, and I'm a human rights activist. And as the profession demands, the ethics of our profession demands that as you are progressing in the profession, you should utilize your knowledge and your skill of law in assisting people in the society who do not have the means of engaging the services of a lawyer. So all these cases you see us doing for people who we feel are not capable of engaging lawyers are totally free. Nobody is giving us a dime from anywhere, and so we just do it for the purpose of advancing the cause of justice and the rule of law, and possibly to develop governance and government in Nigeria.
Wow, this is quite impressive. So I don't know if I've satisfied the curiosity of anyone who has been following up on the case of Tuma. I'm sorry, I find that really difficult to pronounce. So these are.
Sorry, before you conclude,
yeah,
I just wanted to add something that in prosecuting somebody that has been accused of an offense, part of the ways that, because posterity will judge every matter, part of the ways that you ensure that justice is done, because justice is a three-way traffic. It is justice to the state, justice to the accused person, and justice to the society. And justice cannot be said to have been done if everybody in the society, reasonable men of ordinary skill, care, and prudence, cannot be seen that justice was done in a matter. If you accuse somebody of posting something on social media or somebody making a comment, you have part of the ways to ensure that you prove, you expose that in this investigation to scrutiny by the general public, is to give the person the required freedom. If I accuse you, for instance, that you made a statement against me or you made a post against me, if I seize your phone, I accuse you that you made a comment against me, and I seize your phone, how do you justify that you made this statement or you didn't make this statement when that phone that I'm alleging that you used to make the statement against me is in my possession? So in many cases, what we are seeing is that the person who is accusing is investigating and even taking up the job of the court to even interpret the law upon the person that they have accused. So we expect that there should be fairness in the investigation and prosecution of this case. Yes.
You've spoken well, sir. Thank you very much for your service, and thank you very much for granting this interview. I hope that justice is served. It doesn't matter what position you stand, left alone for me, I think that young man went too far, and my comments on this issue is that justice should be served, legal process should be followed. That's all I have to say. And I'm also using this opportunity to speak to young people all over Nigeria. Social media has really gone far, and it has impacted people in a way that when something happens, even if it's little issue, people come online to just make videos about it. And at the same time, people are tempted because of clout or for passion, I don't know, to come out on social media to say things that might not be completely true. There are consequences to decisions like this, and in as much as there are human rights lawyers that are dedicated to helping the oppressed, we should be guided, because not everyone will be as lucky as what's his name, Tuma, to have somebody standing up for him. Trust me. So I am advising you, use social media carefully, meaningfully, because there's no excuse. Do your investigations, do your research, and I think I'm going to be having sections where I engage lawyers on the Lokiudo experience to educate Nigerians about social media and how to, if you want to come out to fight for justice, you want to be an online activist, I feel that there are ways people can do this, you understand, within the bounds of law and to protect themselves. So make sure you are following Lokiudo Experience on YouTube if you do not want to mix that. Thank you very much for watching. God bless you and goodbye. If you have questions, indicate it in the comment section. I might connect with these lawyers again to follow up on this case. Thank you very much and God bless you.